Hello? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so today we're going to be reading a story that I wrote. Okay, so let me give you a little backstory because I talked about doing this in my last video. And if you didn't watch my last video, well, you don't really need explanations. But anyway, so back when I was in 9th grade, we did these word within a word things for English. And it was basically, they give you like words like anti, bi, circum, con, dis, equi, etc., etc. And we had 7 lists, so 7 times 25, because there's 25 on each, right? 175? I feel like that's too much. I don't think there's 25 on here. No, I think there is. We'd have these packets, and you'd have to, like, write down the thing, and then examples of each, and then you'd have, like, make little artist things to, like, remember some of them. What's one of my favorite ones I did? It's because, like, telly means far. This one was, why is my telly so far away? So then I could remember that. Yeah, and then I had some other ones, like Tommy likes to cut carrots. So on some of them, well, actually all of them, we had to create a story. And here's the direction so you understand. Use the space below to create an incredibly fascinating and engaging tale. Use at least 10 words that use the root words in your piece. Highlight these words. Over the course of the time we've done these packets, I wrote a story each time. And then I just decided to continue the story. And they're actually kind of funny, so I thought I'd read you to them. Okay, so this is number packet 1. So, I don't know, first chapter or whatever. Okay. Hello, Margaret. Are you here for the job? Yes, I am, replied Margaret. You do know this is a non-profit organization, Mr. Charles asked. Yes, I do, Margaret replied as if she was on top of the world. Okay, so here's what you need to do. Go to the lobby and get a plastic bag. Then go to the park and pick up trash. You getting this, Margaret? Yes, sir, she said. Okay, then you'll want to ride your bicycle to the dumpster in back and deposit the trash. Next, find the semicircle sticker on the trash can and take it. If you completed that and did not make any mistakes, go back to the building and introduce yourself to Kim. Then give her the sticker, and if she says she likes you, you'll be teaching tricycle riding kindergartens what cinnamons are. So do we have a deal? Yes! Margaret yelled. Then sign the contract, Mr. Charles demanded. After a few years, Margaret was able to start teaching high schoolers. She was assigned to teach biology. She was okay at teaching them, but she did not like them very much. So she decided to ruin high school for the kids. So the first thing she would do is dismiss the class after 10 minutes were done. If there were kids who stayed, she would practice her stand-up comedy. Besides, she needed an audience. She would talk about being a musician and her grandmother's arthritis. After she is done, she wants the kids to ask her for autographs. When she would sign her autographs, she would scribble all over their homework. If a kid did not want her autograph, she would capture them on their way home. She would then throw the kids in her cop car and make them write a report on why she is the best teacher. Then she would yell at them for being cowards, for not asking for her autograph. In addition, at the end of the semester, she gave all the kids Fs so they would not get a credit for taking her class. Then the school got suspicious that every kid failed, so she got fired. But she did succeed at ruining the kids' lives. After Margaret got fired, she returned to her hometown. She decided to take photographs of microwaves so she could make money. One day she was outside and saw a pentagon-shaped window. She was amazed, so she decided to inspect the window. While she was doing this, her telephone started to ring. She ran quickly to pick it up. It was a telemarketer! They wanted to know if she wanted to be one of the first people to have telekinesis powers, and Margaret said yes! For her to get in, she has to write a 7-page paper about pseudoscience. So she started to write the 7-page paper. She spent all day and night working on it. One day she got sick and had to go to the doctors. She had hypothermia! And the doctor said that she had to stay in the hospital. She could not turn in her paper. One day, while she was watching television, she saw a video of someone who had the power of telekinesis. Now Margaret was angry. After Margaret was able to leave the hospital, she decided to relocate. She wanted to live somewhere with turtles. She thought they were magnificent because they were amphibians. So she asked someone on the street where turtles are. He told her, I saw turtles in Florida
once. So Margaret was going to Florida. When she got there, she went to the ocean to find turtles, but every place by the ocean had sand. Margaret has amophobia, so she knew that she could not stay in Florida. She also wanted to live in a place with a large population. Margaret decided on New York City. Once there, she tried writing a novel. She thought it would help her calm down, but it just made her really mad. So she decided the most beneficial thing for her to do is to buy a megaphone. Once she bought it, she could not put it down. She would yell at people all over the city, though her reputation did go down. Even an orthodontist threatened to call the police, and that made Margaret very happy. It turned out the orthodontist did call the police. She was arrested for teaching when she did not have a teaching license, kidnapping kids, giving children's F's on the report cards, and yelling at people with megaphones. Margaret was sentenced to a decade in jail. Just before she got in, she had to get rid of all of her belongings she had on her. The only thing she had was her asteroid she found as a kid. She was sad to say goodbye to it. The officer asked her a question. "What is this?" Margaret replied saying, "An asteroid." Then the officer said, "That's not an asteroid, that's poop." Margaret started to feel tears come to her eyes. She had been carrying a piece of poop with her for the last 17 years. When she arrived at her cell, she met her roommate. Her name is Millimeter. She was named that because she was born on National Millimeter Day, though she told Margaret to call her Millie. That night when she was starting to fall asleep, Millie started to talk to herself. "Hola, amigo. Hi, soy Dora." "Hi, Dora. I'm Millie," Millie said very softly. Then Margaret asked, "Were you talking to Dora the Explorer?" Millie replied saying, "Yes, she's my only friend." That made Margaret think she never really had a friend. She thought she was friends with an octopus, but it turns out that when the octopus squirts ink, it is not happy. The next morning, Margaret asked how Millie got in jail. Millie said she would go to hospitals and make the thermostat temperature go up to 100 degrees or down to 20. Later in the day, they were assigned an activity to do. They got to be on the jail choir. There were about 20 people in it, and they called themselves the Dynamic Dynasty. One of the people in the group recognized her. He was one of the students she taught in the biology class she taught. After a few weeks, the Dynamic Dynasty was in unison when they sang. Margaret was so happy because they all sounded so good. If they could, they would try out for America's Got Talent. Margaret was on top of the world. The stereotype about jail was so wrong. It wasn't terrible. It was wonderful because she finally got friends. It's the 2020's America's Got Talent, and Margaret and the Dynamic Dynasty are trying out. They were all so excited because the prison allowed them to try out because they were good singers and the prison could use the money. It was all going well till a girl asked Margaret to join. If it was any other time, she would include her, but Margaret really wanted to win. The girl seemed okay, but when she performed, she acted like a volcano that was erupting all over the world. There were 4 other people competing today. A marine biologist who did magic tricks, a primary teacher who sang the ABCs. Those were not very good, and the judges said they needed to try more. The other 2 people were a migrant who played tribute to their home country in dance, and a teacher who taught sophomores the law of tangent. She had cats doing gymnastics. It was time for the Dynamic Dynasty to perform. They were going to sing, and for their costumes, they had translucent hats and shoes. After they performed, it was time to find out who was going to win. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the winner of America's Got Talent is the contemporary choir from New York jail, the Dynamic Dynasty! Margaret screamed, "Ah!" She was so surprised. Never in 100 years she thought she would win America's Got Talent. Margaret was finally getting let out of jail. She had spent the last 3 years there, and she was sad that she had to leave. Just before she left, Millie said she wanted to give Margaret something. Margaret would normally refuse, but she was most likely never going to see Millie again. She wanted something to remember her by. It was a ticket to watch the circus.
When she went to the circus, she was amazed. There were numerous acts that she thought was amazing. Afterwards, she was inspired to join the circus. So she set out to find one by her home. There was a circus in the suburbs that was just outside of where she lived. When she went for the interview, it was very brief, and they said Margret would be a happy addition to this culprit circus. The last thing they made Margret do was sign a contract with a giant plastic pen. When she got inside, she was asked what she would like to do. Margret said she wanted to be an acrobat. After lots of practicing, Margret could do her first show. She was going to jump off a 50-foot platform into a pool with a diameter of 2 feet. After Margret performed, another person performed. She was tight-roping. Then she fell and died. The police came and said it was illegal not to have a safety net under them. Then the circus was closed. The end.
You better be clapping. Clap with me.
Yeah, I totally would have made more, but the whole pandemic happened and the teachers didn't give out anymore. So if we ever do word within a word, I'm gonna continue the story because I was planning to, but you know, the pandemic. Bye!